Rolly Romero versus Cruz. Now, what's the first thing you think about when you hear the name Rolly Romero? Is it the knockouts? Is it the fight against Gervonta Davis? Maybe it's the fight against Ishmael Barroso where he got crowned world champion. Is it when he gets on the mic? Are you thinking about what he does when he's on social media? I mean, what exactly is it you think about when you hear his name? And what about Cruz? What do you think about when you hear his name? Is it the pressure? Is it the aggression? Is it that super close fight that he had with Tank? Is it the way he went out there and just put it on Gamboa? I mean, what is it that you think about when you hear his name? Right? I'd make the argument that both of these men are captivating, right? Both of these men capture your attention, albeit for different reasons. And from another perspective, this is a fight that it wasn't even on the radar, man. I didn't even really think that we would get it, at least not at this time. I mean, I'll be honest. I thought we were going to get Rolly Romero versus Ryan Garcia, right? I mean, we're hearing about Ryan Garcia versus Devin Haney, right? A little bit of back and forth. We're hearing it start to build. It's credible. We believe it. It's something that we can actually think is going to happen. And then out of nowhere, all of a sudden we see Ryan Garcia out there jogging 3 o'clock in the morning with Floyd Mayweather, right? Floyd's in his ear. Floyd's telling him this. Floyd's telling him that. And all of a sudden we just completely forget about the fight with Devin Haney. And he's talking about a fight with Rolly Romero. Now, I'll be the first to admit, as soon as I heard it, I thought, brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. We know Rolly Romero isn't the toughest man at 140 pounds. We know that Rolly Romero isn't the guy that is going to give you the most difficult run for your money at junior welterweight, right? We just know it. We know it. I mean, think about what happened at that last fight with Ishmael Barroso, right? Do I need to go into any details? We all know how that one went down. But then Devin Haney, on the other hand, right now that dude's a different animal. Devin Haney, on the other hand, even if you don't think he's the absolute best at 140 pounds, I mean, that dude can fight, right? So when you think about Ryan Garcia stepping in there with Devin Haney versus Ryan Garcia stepping in there with Rolly Romero, different thing altogether. And then when you consider the business side of it, Rolly Romero's got a world championship belt. Definitely easier opponent than Devin Haney. So you think Ryan Garcia goes over there, fights Rolly Romero. If he gets the victory, he snatches up that belt. It gives him extra leverage in that fight with Devin Haney. So it made perfect sense. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, that one disappears as well. And we hear for the co-main, March 30th, PBC making the debut on Amazon Prime. And we're getting Rolly Romero versus Cruz. So, I got to be honest with you, man. This is an interesting fight for Rolly Romero. I was at the fight that he had with Ishmael Barroso. The crowd was going crazy. Nobody could believe that one got stopped the way that they did. Everybody thought it was a horrible stoppage. Everybody was looking, thinking, dude, is this old man going to go in here and just upset the apple cart? Is he going to go in here and get the win against Rolly Romero? And then all of a sudden we get that stoppage and we see how it all played out. So I was always wondering what was going to happen for his next fight. Here we are, Cruz. And this is going to be an interesting one, man. Let me tell you. It's going to be interesting to see what he does, how he comes out, right? I mean, on the one hand, he gets rid of his trainer. He's done with Bullet. Okay. Now, I can understand maybe you would make the argument that he just wasn't seeing the progression in his skill set that he needed, right? I'm sure that there were people in his ear telling him, like, look, dude, you need to be better. You're not going to make it. You're not going to be able to survive at the top of the heap. You've got a name appeal right now. You're bringing in money. You can do more than guys who are better than you in the sense of making more money because you can captivate people's attention. Like, people know your name. So even though you may not be a better fighter than some other people, you're going to be able to generate more money, right? Ryan Garcia, perfect example. Plenty of guys out there that are better fighters than him. Almost nobody in his weight class particularly is going to be able to generate more buzz, sell more pay-per-views, do more than him. He's just a huge name guy. You can see it from his social media. So they're looking at it and they're like, Rod, but to have staying power, to really be able to stay at the top, you still need to be able to win fights. You still need to be able to fight amongst the best guys in the world. So get rid of the trainer, get another one. Bullet, you could tell he was in this interview. He's talking about it. It seemed to apparently come out of nowhere. You could tell that he's salty about the situation. Whatever. Be the situation as it may. The reason I bring it up is because we got to think, how's it going to affect him in this fight? Now, he's been fighting for a long time, right? I get it. He's not one of these dudes that's been fighting since he was 9 years old. Nevertheless, he's been fighting for a long time. There's almost no way in the world he's going to come out and have some completely different style or look completely different after one training camp with a new trainer. Not going to happen. I don't care how good they mesh. I don't care how good the trainer is. It's just not going to happen. That type of thing takes time. And even then, you would make the argument that he's only going to be able to change so much, right? Like, the dude is who he is at this point in the game, right? And what is he? Who is it that we think about when we think about Riley Romero? We think about a guy who's a power puncher. We think about a guy who wants to go out there and land everything with bad intentions. We don't think about him as a guy with a jab. We don't think about him as a boxer. We don't think about him as a guy who really controls the distance or the range. We don't think about it as a guy who's got a great work rate. Got his chin in the air sometimes. Doesn't have a great defense. He can be baited into shots and be too aggressive. Just all kinds of things, both positive and negative, that we think about this dude. How's that going to match up against Isaac Cruz, right? That's the real question. At the end of the day, when you think about this fight, because when we think about Isaac Cruz, we think about that pressure, the aggressiveness. He's on his front foot, the work rate, the combination punching, how he's going in there throwing everything with bad intentions, how he wants to get inside, like right in your kitchen and just do work. How's that going to match up with Riley Romero? I don't think this one's going to go good for him. I think Riley Romero most likely is going to have some trouble, because hear me out. He doesn't have a jab. He's got some footwork and he can move around on the outside. We saw that in his last fight. Once he got tagged by Barroso, got dropped, got on his bike. He's moving around. But when he's moving around, he's not out there scoring points. He's not working the jab. He's not controlling the distance. He's not doing damage while he's out there. It's almost like he's just moving around and he still has to get set. He still has to stop to get his shots off. That's not going to work good, I think, against Isaac Cruz, right? Because Isaac Cruz is going to constantly be pressing forward. He's going to be trying to cut off the ring. He's going to overextend and just put himself in bad positions to get his shots off. But I don't think Riley's going to be able to be the type of guy or be in the correct positions to take advantage of those opportunities, right? When Cruz puts himself in those bad shots, when he overextends, when he gets off balance, when he's just trying as hard as he can to land that power shot, a guy who's in great position is going to be able to take advantage of that. That's not Riley Romero's game. I don't think Riley Romero is going to be able to keep Cruz off of him. How? What's he going to do? I think this is going to be a situation where Riley's attempting to catch him as he comes in. I think he's going to allow himself to get backed up. I think he's going to find himself on the ropes. I think that once Cruz is inside, it's going to be all bad, right? Riley Romero's not a guy who's known to catch and shoot. He's not a guy who's going to be in there with this great defense. He's not going to, set traps and then be able to get off good little uppercuts on the inside and sting him and be able to turn him around and then all of a sudden do work when he's got Cruz up against the ropes. He's not slick like that. That's not his game. I don't think he's going to be able to go in there and do any of that. I think Cruz is going to be able to back him up more often than not. I think he's going to get him against the ropes. I think he's going to be able to work him to the body. I think he's going to be able to get good shots off. I think it's going to be a rough night, man. I think it's going to be a styles make fights, and it's going to be a tough one for Riley. Now, it's not going to be 100% of the time some whitewash blowout, just go out there and you can't even believe the amount of work and the pressure and everything that Cruz put on. Riley will have little moments here and there, but other than catching Cruz when he's coming in, what's he going to do? How's he going to keep him off of him? How is he going to match the work rate and that pressure and the aggressiveness? I mean, I get it. You want to say Cruz is shorter. Okay, you want to say Cruz is a smaller guy. You want to say Cruz has to close the distance and close that gap and come through the fire to get in. Yeah, but he's done it all the time before, and he's going to do it again, right? What's Riley going to do to keep him off? He's got the power. Does he have the accuracy? Does he have the timing? Is he going to be able to set the traps? What about what's going to be the plan B when Cruz does get inside? Because nobody's able to keep people off him 100% of the time. Gervonta Davis wasn't able to keep Cruz off him 100% of the time. We know how deadly that left hand is. We know how his ring IQ is. It's good, man. It's underrated. He understands how to fight. He knows how to set traps. He knows how to come forward. He knows how to go backwards. He knows how to do all kinds of things in the ring. And we saw the type of trouble Cruz gave him. Now we're talking about Riley Romero. So I think going into this one, it's going to I think it's going to surprise a lot of people. I think it's going to be a really interesting fight, but it's going to be all on Riley Romero, right? Because everybody knows exactly what Cruz is going to bring to the table. Everybody knows exactly how this man is going to fight. The whole question is whether or not you can deal with it, right? He's one of those fighters. He's not the type of guy that's going to come in there and switch up his game plan based on who he's fighting. He's not going to come in with something completely different. He's not going to come in and emphasize something that we haven't seen before, had new tricks and wrinkles and do his best. It's not who he is. He's the type of guy who comes in there and says, this is who I am. Every single time you see me, I'm going to be at my best. I'm going to be fighting my hardest. Can you deal with that? Can you handle that? Because if you can't, you're going to get steamrolled. And if you can, then it's going to be a fight. So it's going to be interesting to see which Riley Romero shows up and whether or not he's going to be able to handle what Isaac Cruz brings to the table, man. So it'll be Personally, I think it's going to be an awesome one for as long as it lasts. I don't even, I find it hard to believe it's going to go 12 rounds. So, let me know what you guys think. Am I underestimating what Raleigh brings to the table? Is this new trainer going to be able to really bring something out of him that we haven't seen before? Am I overestimating what Isaac Cruz has, right? I mean, is this the type of thing where he's looked great at moments and at times, but maybe he's not great all the time and we're not going to see it here? Let me know what you guys think.